Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're studying community medicine, you have definitely come to the right place. Today, we're diving into a topic that's not only super high yield for your exams, but is also a real-life hero and public health. So, if you're serious about acing PSM, preventive and social medicine, and you want to really get these concepts, not just memorize them, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're all about breaking down the tough stuff and making it simple. Okay, let's jump right in. I want you to picture this. You're at a remote clinic, a primary health center, way out in a rural area. Suddenly, the power cuts out, and it's not coming back on for hours, maybe even a whole day. Now, inside their fridge are thousands of vaccine doses. So what happens? Are they all ruined? Is all that life-saving potential just gone? Well, to answer that, we've got to understand the core problem here. We need to talk about the vaccine's number one enemy. Okay, so here's the thing. Vaccines are what we call heat label, and that's really just a fancy way of saying they're super fragile. Think of them like tiny, delicate biological machines. If they get too hot, they just break down. They lose their power. But here's the real kicker, and this is super important. Some of them are just as sensitive to the cold. Yeah, if certain vaccines, like DPT or tetanus toxoid, actually freeze, they're totally ruined. So keeping the temperature just right, it's not a suggestion, it's absolutely critical. So how in the world do you solve a problem like that? I mean, on a massive scale for an entire country? Well, the answer is a pretty brilliant system called the cold chain. The idea behind it is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You have to understand, the cold chain isn't just one piece of equipment like a fridge. Nope. It's a whole system, an unbroken chain. It's basically a promise that from the second that vaccine is made to the moment it goes into someone's arm, its temperature is protected. So what's this magic number we're talking about? Well, for most vaccines, the sweet spot, the golden range, is between +2 and +8 degrees Celsius. Go above 8, you risk heat damage. Go below 2, and you're getting into the danger zone for freezing. This isn't just a guideline. This is the window we have to hit 24/7. And that's why we call it a chain, right? Think about the vaccine's journey. It starts at the manufacturer. Then it goes to the state level, then the district, and eventually it lands at the primary health center, the PHC. From there, a health worker, an A&M, carries it in a special vaccine carrier to the actual village session site. Every single step, every link in that chain has to be perfect. And it's at that final, most crucial link, the PHC, that we meet the absolute hero of this whole story, the ILR. You see, every single PHC is equipped with an ice-lined refrigerator, or ILR, and a deep freezer. And trust me, these are way more than just appliances. They're the guardians of the cold chain, right at the front lines, making sure those vaccines are safe right before they reach the people who need them.
But what's the big deal about an ILR? I mean, why not just use a normal fridge like the one in your kitchen? Well, the ILR has a secret weapon, something that makes it perfect for places where the power supply is, let's say, a little unpredictable.
And the difference is honestly night and day. A regular fridge, it's totally dependent on electricity. The second the power goes out, the temperature inside starts to climb and boom, your vaccines are at risk. An ILR, though, is built for exactly that kind of crisis. It can hold that safe temperature, that +2 to +8 degree range, for hours after the power is gone. So how on earth does it do that? Well, the secret is all in its lining. When there is electricity, the ILR's main job is to use that power to freeze a series of water packs that are built right into its walls. It's like charging a battery, but instead of storing electricity, it's storing cold. You can think of it like a thermal battery or a power bank for coolness. And this is where it gets really clever. When the power cuts out, that thermal battery kicks in. The ice inside the walls starts to melt, but really, really slowly. And as it melts, it absorbs all the heat from inside the fridge cabinet. It basically becomes its own cooling system, no electricity needed. And that's how it keeps the temperature perfectly stable, right in that golden range, protecting those vaccines when they need it most. Okay, now listen up, because this is huge for your viva and practical exams. Knowing the science is great, but that's only half the story. You absolutely have to know the golden rules for actually using an ILR. So the next couple of points, you need to know these inside and out. All right, let's talk about the do's. First off, you got to keep it in a cool room, out of direct sunlight, and give it some breathing room, at least 10 centimeters from the wall on all sides.
Power surges can kill the compressor, so always plug it into a voltage stabilizer. Make sure you defrost it periodically so it runs efficiently. And this last one is maybe the most important. You have to record the temperature twice a day, every single day, morning and evening. No exceptions.
And just as important are the don'ts. This is a big one. An ILR is for vaccines, period. No food, no water bottles, no other drugs. Nothing. Also, keep the top of the fridge clear. It needs that space to get rid of heat. Don't hoard vaccines in there either. Never keep more than a month's supply. And finally, simple stock management. First in, first out. And get any expired vaccines out of there immediately.
And just so you know, everything we're talking about here isn't just random stuff I'm making up. This is all pulled straight from the latest guidelines and the standard textbooks, PARC, IPSM, the ones you're using right now. This is the stuff that's going to help you ace those exams.
So if this made sense, if it cleared things up for you, do us a huge favor and smash that like button. It really helps other students find us. And hey, if you haven't already, subscribe to Exam Edge. We've got a lot more high-yield topics coming your way, and you don't want to miss them. All right, I want to leave you with a final thought. The ILR is a perfect example of a pretty simple, tough piece of tech that has a massive impact on public health. It literally saves millions of lives. So my question for you is, what other low-cost innovations can you think of that have completely changed the game in public health? Let us know what you think in the comments. We'd love to see what you come up with. Thanks for watching.